Are you ready for the heavyweight championship of the world? Are you ready?
Hey, welcome to Anonymous Corner, bringing you another episode of Unanimous Decision. And today, who we talking to, Bill?
Hey, you heard what he said, Unanimous Decision. That's our exclusive interview series. And today we have a banger. Man, this guy hails from Atlanta, Georgia, and he is a part of a legendary R&B group. Man, they brought to you bangers such as Only You, Peaches and Cream, and the monster ballad, Cupid. Today we have none other than Mike Keith of 112.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right. Here we go. We got Mike, Mr. Wee. How you doing, brother?
Man, that never gets old, bro. Like, that's funny too, bro.
Man, listen, like, I be crying. That last one with the dude on the motorcycle.
Oh yeah. Hey man, look, that came out of, honestly, that came out of nowhere, man. Really, it came out of nowhere. Like for I've never really been a social media person. Like I never really wanted to do social media. I'm very private, so I don't really do a whole lot of social media. But like with managers and everybody, they were like, bro, you are way too funny for people not to know that who don't know you. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, man, well, I got to be able to do whatever I want to do, man. Like, y'all can't be hitting me back on. We got to have a meeting, you know what I'm saying, about something that I posted and stuff. So, and I got to always keep that in mind, because my primary way I make money is 112, and I don't want to offend anybody and do anything. But at the same time, if it's on social media and it's funny and everybody else seems to be cool with it, then why can't I do it? So it takes a little manipulation here and there, man. And I got to steer away from certain things, man. Like, I can't do any body shaming or like, what I'm saying? But it's a lot, trust me, it can go a lot worse, bro. It can be a lot worse.
I'm going to tell everybody, follow Mike's IG. I'm telling you, he will have you crying. Either that or watch out, little bitch.
Yeah, man. So it's a combination of watch out, little bitch, and weed, man. Like it's those little things, man. But that just shows that other side of me, man. Like, people think that I'm serious all the damn time because of the way I sing and stuff, man. But bro, I'm one of the most silliest dudes on planet Earth, man. When something funny to me, I'm telling you, it's funny to me, bro. And I harp on that thing for a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So Mike, a lot of people we interview, a lot of the singers or artists, producers, so forth, they always trace their talents back to their early years. Okay. Everybody, for the most part, mentions church, right? Yep. So I'm going to ask you the exact same thing. When did you notice you had a gift of singing, and how far, where do your roots stem from?
Actually, I started singing before I could actually, and I know it sounds crazy, but before I could really talk, I was singing. Like, I could sing something word for word, but then you ask me to say a word, and it's like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? Okay. So it's kind of weird trying to explain that, man. But if my mother or somebody asked me to sing something, like, I could do it. And when they realized I had a gift is those old Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny cartoons and stuff, how they used to do all that, operatic stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. I used to imitate all of that, and that's when my mother was like, he could really sing. I throw everybody off on planet Earth when I tell them that I didn't really sing in church. You know what I mean? Like, everybody ever heard me sing is like, bro, I know you used to kill a church. No, I grew up Methodist. You know what I mean? So I was in the Methodist church. So it was all that glory be to the Father and to the Son and to the real linear, real mundane, whatever, man. We wasn't hooping and hollering and all that stuff in the church. So I honestly don't know where I get a lot of that from, other than it just being in you, you know what I mean? And the Most High just giving you that gift. But now, like, a lot of my singing, like, I did singing in church, but it wasn't a whole lot of hooping and hollering like everybody automatically assumed, like, that just because, I do all that, then now is that's where it came from. It didn't come from that, man. It came from me It came from me watching a lot of artists do that. Now I went to other churches and stuff like, Deron had a church. He was Baptist, and we actually were choir directors and at his church and whatnot. So, I got a lot of that from that. But as far as like with me, like I grew up Methodist when we didn't do a whole lot of that. But I said a lot of my influences came from, me watching TV, listening to my mother sing. She's a singer as well. But yeah, that's kind of like where my influences started from. And then as I got older, I started listening to, the quintessential artists, the Stevie Wonders, the Donny Hathaways, the Commission, the Take Sixes of the world and whatnot. And you gotta understand too, man, with me, when I was growing up, I didn't think that singing was all that special. And the reason why I say that is because it didn't take a whole lot of effort for me to do. So in my mind, I'm thinking if I can do it, then anybody can sing. You know what I'm saying? But and I had to be told this from somebody like, a while back. It's like, no, bro, it's just God gave you a gift. You know what I mean? And he gave you an incredible gift. But for the longest in my naivete, I thought that if I can do it, anybody could do it. So, I didn't consider myself having that much of a work ethic at that time. I was like 9, 10, maybe 11 years old or whatever. So I didn't really look at it as being something uber special. Like I didn't really see it like that. I said my mother can sing, I can sing, you know what I mean? So it was like, it was just something to do. And then that's when, so around 14, 12, well, around 13, 14 is when I realized that, it was something that I could, possibly have a career off of and stuff. And that's when I started taking everything serious. And then that's when everything started to blink in, like the Stevie Wonders, the Donny Hathaways, the David Ruffins, sorry, the Casey's from Jodeci and things of that nature, man. Like those are the people that I started to gravitate towards and stuff.
And when you bring up uber special, the one thing about 112 is every member is uber special. Like you guys are comprised of a group where everyone's fully capable of singing lead. So Slim's voice is unique, and when you hear that voice, you automatically know it's a 112 track as a listener.
Right.
So were all members understanding of that decision to heavily incorporate Slim's voice at the beginning?
Not at first. Not at first. Like, because all of us was lead singers. You know what I mean? Like you said. So of course, in our mind, the way that we came to Puffy and approached him was, we're going to be the first group where all 4 members could sing lead. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, I can't remember a group that had, of course you had people that could sing, but not on the same level as the next person next to them, in their own right. You know what I mean? So that was our, that was quote unquote our niche. That was the thing that was going to separate us from, everybody else, the fact that all 4 of us could sing, lead at the time, man. So, of course, we went to Puff and we told him the plan, and he was like, yeah, that sounds cool and everything, man, but this is the music business. And you know that. So, he's like, man, y'all can go, at the end of the day, if y'all want to go find a little club or something, y'all want to own a little club and sing karaoke night, until your heart content. But if you're trying to sell records, Slim needs to sing the majority of the leads because his voice is so distinctive. It wasn't that he sound better than everybody. His voice was just so much distinctive. Like I've never heard anybody sound like that dude before. Like you've heard my voice before. Them old church singing, Deron had that Stevie Wonder kind of, Stokely kind of, Kevon from After Seven. He's in that. Yeah, he's in that range, and Q Parker was more of a Brian McKnight kind of, He was in that smooth, in that world, whatever. He kept everything smooth. And I was the chicken and grits. I was the church, dude, whatever. And Slim was just that oddity that you've never heard before. So Puff's whole reasoning was, listen, when that man sing, you immediately are going to identify that song as being 112s. And once he broke that down to us, like, and trust me, he sat the 3 of us down and told us, like, yo, I'm gonna make him he's gonna be doing a lot of the lead singing and stuff. Like, I know all y'all can sing, but we trying to sell records right now.
Yeah.
And that wasn't saying that somewhere down the line you couldn't sing a lead here and there, whatever, but it's gonna work itself out anyway, the way that it did. It wasn't like, okay, I want Slim to sing the bridge on this part and I want him to do it. Just manifested the way that it manifested, and his gift just manifested and it just showed anyway. It just made sense. And if you were of the right mind, which was let's sell these records, then everybody agrees. It's like, nah, bro sound the best on this part, so let him have that. You know what I mean? And then go from there. Like, don't fight that. You know what I'm saying? If everybody in the room is saying let him sing that part, then let him sing it. Or if he needs to sing the entire song, let him sing that. The beauty of it is that with all the other ancillary songs that we had on the album, people were able to get their rocks off. And and a lot of the songs that didn't even make singles or whatever, a lot of the people's 112 favorites, man. You know what I mean? Like Player, for example, and whatever. Technically, Player was a single, but it didn't get the push that the rest of the songs on Part 3 did. But that's one of the songs that people just absolutely love. And it's a lot of records, man. Like Now That We're Done, where you get to showcase all of the vocal talents and stuff like. So so we had our opportunities to sing. It was just, hey man, listen, when it's time for you to to get up, and sing, bro, either step up or step down.
Step up, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I honestly was not prepared to be the singer that I am now when we first started. Like, Puff wanted me to sound more like, because I was such in a lower register than anything, he wanted me to have more of a, I want, kind of like a Michael McDonald kind of vibe going on with the vocals and stuff. And I'm like, man, that's not me, but I'll do it. You know what I'm saying, for the sake of the group or whatever, man. But I'm more of a, I'm a crooner. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a, I'll get on the stage and Gerald Laverto has, you know what I mean?
Dog, yeah.
Yeah, but he was like, man, for the role I need you to start out with, man, I need you to take more of that, setting Slim up kind of role or whatever, man. And so I wasn't really prepared for that, man, because I was used to, being in the forefront, being the lead singer, being, somebody who off the rip just goes there. You know what I mean? And so that was an adjustment. But once you wrap your mind around the fact that A, we're trying to sell records, B, you're gonna get your rocks off if you work hard enough, man, and the song, because everybody wanted everybody to win. It wasn't like, we want to comprise this whole album full of Slim singing leads and stuff. Like they wanted to hear the other individual voices as well too. So with all that working in our favor, man, the body of work that we had kind of morphed into what it ended up being, and I wouldn't change it at all, man. Like I actually like the fact that I came in as a if you football terms, instead of being on offense, I was on special teams. You know what I mean? Like I was somebody who came in when I needed to come in real quick and give you a quick 7. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? Quick 6 rather. And then so that was the mind frame that I had, man. And I'm cool with it.
Hey, Devin Hester was a man. He going to Hall of Fame.
Man, look here, man. Devin, even when he came to the A, he was still that man. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's special team, so he needed. But it's funny because as you were talking, I was thinking about all the R&B male groups, and I'm thinking about every single lead person, everyone who I think of having a distinctive voice, like you from Kevon Edmonds. He had a very distinctive voice. Aaron Hall, distinctive voice. Stokely,
yes.
Raphael Sadiq. A lot of people, they had a voice.
Candy name dropped you guys as well. Like she mentioned, she just had this conversation on social media about why she was selected to sing lead.
Yeah. We saw.
Yeah, it brought it up as well, and I immediately thought of you guys.
Yeah, but you so. Even thinking about that, so think about as Barry said, talking about singing lead, right? In this is my opinion. The vocal performance that, in my opinion, that just stands out is Player.
Okay.
I don't. It's especially y'all that 2001 Apollo performance that y'all did. That's boy, y'all toured. Y'all. I watched it again today. Y'all tore it down because you can hear. You were able to shine. It wasn't just Slim it's like, no, these boys can get down for real. These boys
Right.
will give anybody a problem,
Right.
Because you in a lot of other groups, they had one, maybe two lead, people who did sing, Jazz and Cisco and Casey and JoJo's. You had different groups like that. Boys and Men, they're boys and Men, they're a little different.
Yeah.
But y'all have 4 lead singers.
Right.
Do you think that's what made y'all stand out amongst y'all peers?
It did. The fact that all 4 and they knew, like, they used to always call us Voltron. You know what I mean? Like, they used to always say 12 with Voltron, because like without one of those pieces, man, like Voltron couldn't be, who he was supposed to be, whatever. But at the same time, as an individual, you still was special in your own right. The blue one was with water, the yellow was sand, and green trees, and then red with fire or whatever. So it was that you had your individual parts. Like nobody stepped on each other's toes when it came to that. When it came time for all that Kim Burrell, Stevie Wonder, high pitched stuff or whatever, that was all to run. When it came time for the smooth, harmonies and those just that setup, that voice that just set up the tone or whatever, that was Q Parker. With me, it was more of the when you needed somebody to give you something spiritually, to like church almost or whatever, that was me. And then Slim was that voice, man, that was just so distinctive. And then but the thing was, none of us were in our own rights. We were the masters of that world that we were in. It was almost like a certain jujitsu style or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like certain, like if you did a crane and he was a tiger and things, like he was the best at the crane and he was the best at the tiger or whatever. So nobody impeded on the other person's, And I think that's what made us so special when people realized that, it's like, and on top of that, these cats can harmonize. You know what I mean? Because the crazy thing was, we actually put more of a premium on us on the harmonies than we did. The leads was always secondary to us. You know what I'm saying? Like we always looked at that as being like, man, you can do that. Because again, it goes back to the mindset. Like if I can do it, anybody can do it. So we weren't really looking at those leads as, as something that was really special or whatever. Those harmonies, we knew that what made 112 special outside of Slim sing, Slim's voice or whatever, what made us special was nobody could harmonize like us, like live or on wax or whatever. So that's what amongst our peers and stuff, man, we used to hear that all the time. It's like, man, y'all 4 boys, man, I don't think y'all realize, man. I was like, yeah, we realize it, just we can't do it because we're trying to sell records. You know what I mean? We trying to sell records. Like now we can go do a whole bunch of album full of harmony and all this other stuff, whatever, but it ain't gonna sell a record. But if we go do something that sounds and just give you sprinkling of the harmonies and stuff like that, man, I think you can, you can succeed in that. But yeah, absolutely. Our peers, they always pulled us to the side, like, yo, man, from the Drew Hills to the Jagged Edges to hell, In Sync. One time, man, we did a basketball tournament one time, man, and Justin Timberlake. It was Justin Timberlake and Chris Kirkpatrick. Kirk Kirkpatrick. It's one of them. Yeah, Kirk Kirkpatrick. Yeah, one of the white boy. Yeah, they pulled us to the side and he was like, man, y'all boys, man, we study y'all every day or whatever. And and us, we're looking at them like peers. It's like, but y'all in sync. You know what I mean? So it's like, even though we know vocally, we were on a whole nother level when it comes to those vocals or whatever. It's like, man, these boys are in sync, like they worldwide, and like we're good in our own right too, but they're in sync or whatever. So we're looking at them like, okay, that's cool or whatever, that y'all listen to our music. He's like, no, you don't think you understand. And then the dude proceeded to sing Now That We're Done. He started, got to try my mystery, and all of them out of nowhere, like these cats were just walking, they were doing whatever they were doing, but then when they heard that, they all came together, so low, so low, so low, all the harmonies and stuff like that or whatever. We knew then it was like, okay, we have a responsibility, bro. Like these artists are looking at us, they're looking for us to give them those kind of harmonies and things of that nature, man. So it was incumbent upon us to just keep that sound going, because you got cats that are your peers that are imitating your style or trying to learn your style and things of that nature, man. I felt like that was really cool, you know what I'm saying, for them boys to, it expands all genres and race and all this other stuff, man. Music is like math, it's universal. So, it was just really cool to see that, it's like, bro, here we are, these 4 country bumpkins from Atlanta, out here, just revolutionizing music at this point.
And I want to take a couple of steps back to the debut album. So you guys work with producers that were passed up by other groups. So I want to mention Tim and Rob. They were actually supposed to work with Boyz II Men's 2 album, but the label passed up on them. And I think they were able to find a sweet spot with you guys. So are there songs, whether it be that album or later work, that were given to you guys that were supposed to go to other groups or vice versa?
Yeah, it's Tim and Bob. Tim and Bob. So Bob. Yeah. So Now That We're Done actually was a song that was written for Boyz II Men. And because if you go back to that first album, that the remix, if you listen to the lyrics, it says, "Now that we're done, what are you thinking?" Like, if you go back and listen to that remix,
you lied, man. Yeah, dang, you right.
That's where that came from. So they took that song and I guess Motown, they said that at that point, Now That We're Done was a little too risque for Boyz II Men at that point. You know what I mean? So they was like, but the song was so hot, they had to do something with it. So that was a song that they brought to us, and we were like, absolutely, we want this song, man. Matter of fact, that was the first song. That's our oldest recorded song outside of the song we did for the Money Train soundtrack, which Tim and Bob did that one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the first songs that we recorded. At that point, when we did Now That We're Done, that set the template for everybody to realize, okay, we got something special with these boys, man. When they heard that for the first time, it's like, yo, these cats are on a whole nother level, and we just expect the album to be, just incredible at that point. Yeah. But that was the catalyst and the origin of Now That We're Done.
Now That We're Done.
And here's a fun fact for you too. Sleeping in My Bed actually was a song that was given to us first. Drew Hill. Yeah, it was the dude that wrote the song, man. He played it on guitar first. He was in Atlanta.
That was Daryl that wrote that, or who? That Daryl Simmons?
I think so. But he came to, this was 90. I want to say this was 93, 94. And he played it on guitar. So it didn't sound like how it ended up being, so it wasn't, so it wasn't that. But when we heard it, we was like, we love the song, but the direction that we were going in, we wanted to be a little bit more hard hitting or whatever. So we couldn't really hear the vision. We could hear the vision. We couldn't see the vision and hear where he was going with it at that time. But Sleeping in My Bed was presented to 112 long before anybody else. Like we were the first ones, man. He came, he playing on the guitar, got this feeling, and I just can't turn. Of course, they were like, Mike, we want you to sing the leads on this, that, and the other, yada yada yada. But Puff heard it and was like, yeah, it's cool, whatever, man. But I want to take 12 in another direction. And to be fair, although in the beginning I was like, man, I don't want, I want to sing the leads on that. I understood it just like everybody else understood it, man. And we went in the right direction, bro.
Yeah.
Because prior to us, you had like with the Jodeci's and Boyz II Men, you had an A side and you had a B side of an album, whatever. Because the B side was all the up tempo R&B stuff that nobody really listened to. 12 was like, nah, we finna be those first cats that do hip hop and R&B. Like we do not get the credit for that, man. Like nobody ever gives up. But when we talk about it, the first thing I ask you is, all right, well, name the group that was before us that did exactly that hip hop and R&B, and I'll wait. And nobody can answer that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because prior to us, you had an A side and a B side, and we wanted to eliminate that, man. And we wanted to create this new genre. And we created hip hop and R&B. Like we were the originators of what is going on in the world today, man. But we don't get none of that credit, man. But like they always say, credit to be given, not taken. So, but we're doing the interviews. I can speak on it, man. But like us and Mary J. Blige were the first, two artists that actually was singing over hip hop tracks, and it actually made sense. There was other artists that tried it, but not successfully and in succession the way that we did. We kept doing it.
Yeah, with your vocals, I think because that's kind of that. You guys are that post New Jack Swing thing where I felt like y'all was, like you said, you and Mary, 112 and Mary, y'all were actually singing on the record.
Right.
I think a lot of those guys prior, they sang a little bit and then they rap on the track. But credit where credit's due. That was definitely 112.
Either they halfway sung on it, or they oversung it.
Yeah,
you know, like you'll get an artist that come in and they doing all on these hip hop tracks, and you can't hear the record. Puff broke that. The thing. Let me. And I keep going back to Puff, man, but because I learned so much from him. But one of the things that we learned from him as far as songwriting was concerned is because we were songwriters off the rip, but he simplified everything. He said, "Man, look at it like this: you in a club, you can't sing. You're in a club, you trying to talk to a girl, you drinking, she drinking. If your favorite song comes on, she ain't gonna want to hear you trying to murder or ad lib and stuff like that. She want to hear, girl, I want to be with you, no one else, only you. Like she want to hear that. She don't want to hear you going, and you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? She was like, get out of my ear with all that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the mindset when we wrote records. It was like, man, imagine yourself in the club. You getting your drink on, she getting her drink on, you trying to holler at this girl, and the music is bumping and you want to sing along with the music. You know what I mean? How would you go about doing that? Would you hit her with all kind of different Kim Burrell ad libs in her ear?
No, man, you can't hit it with you can't hit it with the Kim, man.
Yeah, or would you hit it with something smooth? Or would you hit it with something real smooth? Like, so that was the mindset that when we do a lot of, simplified, just simplified. That was so I'm basically giving you the formula of how 112, was successful with our records and stuff. It, like, our records wasn't sing along. It wasn't that ABC sing along, it wasn't that, but it was simplified to where anybody in any genre at any time could sing along to.
Yeah.
Mike, in my opinion, that's the beauty of that era's R&B, right? Because I can get a Gerald Levert song, and I can. We all know he go in his runs, and you can hear Boys the Men and onlyyou once he start nodding that head and he started doing his thing. I can sing along to it. It ain't sound like it, right? But then I can hear, like you said, I can hear a song that's a little more simplified, right? And I can sing that. I can sound better singing that than I can the Mother Boys.
Right,
so
absolutely, man.
Right on that.
Simplify, man. Like just simplify, because music is supposed to be simple, man. Like we're not here to overthink music, man. Either you like it or you don't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like these cats, it kills me how I used to be in those meetings and they would hit you with the analytics and based off of surveys and all this other stuff. It's like these people, this demographic likes this type of music or whatever. Man, just play the record, man. Do they like it or they don't, man? You know what I'm saying? If they don't like it, scrap that and then go somewhere else with it. You know what I mean? Like that was our thing. Like we never really conform to those analytics and people telling us based off of this, that, and the third, or whatever. It's like, man, it's all feeling, man. If this song makes you feel good, like, think about it. Like, there was no record on the radio that sounded like Cupid with that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's something else funny too, man. The program director for WGCI in Chicago, dude told us to our face, I am not playing Cupid. I refuse to play this record. There ain't nowhere in the world that this record is ever going to get played on WGCI. That's when it first came out. 3 weeks later, we came back. That man's like, hey, bro, listen, before we even go in here and do this interview, let me before you go in there with I think it was Rick Party at the time. Said, before we go in there and you do your interview, let me go ahead and apologize to y'all right now. I was wrong. I ain't never admitted. Like this dude just went into this whole diatribe, man, of how he was absolutely wrong, because we knew that record was a special, man. Like we knew, like the origin of that. Let me back up a little bit to get, because I know we mentioned, if you got some information about it, whatever. Cupid was one of the last songs that we did on the first album, and it came about accidental. Like what's the word? Serendipitous. It was a fortunate accident, right? What happened was we ran out of money. So at that time, Babyface, if y'all remember, Babyface was at the height. He was the man at the time. You know how all the producers got it. Pharrell, it was Timbaland, but at this point, it was Babyface. If you got a record from Babyface, you were guaranteed. He had just done On Bended Knee. He had just did the
Waiting to Exhale.
Waiting to Exhale soundtrack.
Yep.
Yeah. So he was on fire. All right. Puff set up a meeting for us to fly out specifically to holler at Babyface. Go to his house, holler at Babyface. We go into this man's house, and I'm telling you, this house. It's like, bro, listen, man, the Taj Mahal, like this man's house was marble everywhere, gold plated, this, that, and the third, man, plaques everywhere, man. And this man had this white rug. I don't know what type of material it was or whatever, but just by looking at it, you knew that thing was expensive as all get out. And Slim tracked mud on it. It was all white. Oh, man. That man tracked mud on that man's and I truly believe that man price went from to uphill.
Budget.
Yeah, that budget was gone. Like our budget was already gone anyway, man. But once that man tracked mud onto that rug, bro, I think it was a wrap at that point. I said, "Oh man, we gonna." But the crazy thing was, we wanted a record. What we wanted was When Can I See You Again? Right.
Oh, okay.
And that's the type of record that we wanted. We wanted that kind of feel, whatever, acoustic guitar, what I'm saying? That kind of feel, like, when can I see you again? Right. So if you listen to the cadence of When Can I See You Again and play Cupid, it's the same cadence. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the overall feel of it. Yeah, melody wise, it's a little different, but we wanted a record. And then so Deron was like, man, I can do that, man. I can do a When Can I See You Again? And it initially it sounded just like When Can I See You Again? But then as we started working with Arnold Hennings, who helped co-produce it, it started to morph into its own thing or whatever. And we started taking parts away, because at first it was this big theatrical, symphonic, all this other stuff, man. And we was like, man, let's just take this away, until it got to like 5 instruments. You know what I mean? And simple, bro. And it but that was the basis for Cupid, was When Can I See You Again? And we just morphed it into what it was. So it ended up working in our favor that Slim tracked mud into that man on that man's rug, because we got Cupid out of it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which was, one of our biggest records, if not, like one of our top 3 biggest records, you know what I'm saying? So that's where that whole that whole thing originated from, man. So it was kind of wild to see that, how that manifested and stuff, man. But yeah, that was, we went out to LA specifically to holler at Babyface, only for that man to track mud on that.
Now we got to make this got to be a clip, man.
That man stopped returning our phone calls after that or whatever. He's like, man, you got to block this, man. You can't, So it was funny, man. But now you go back and think about it, because it could have easily, the history of it could have easily went. Now, do we feel like he would have given us a banger? Absolutely, we felt like he would have, but it wouldn't have been Cupid. You know what I mean?
It gave Darren a chance to flex his muscle too, because I think he's an underrated songwriter. So
absolutely, absolutely. Like a lot of people don't and see, that was the thing too. That was and for all the praise that I gave Puff or whatever. Like I gotta be real with you too. A lot of the things that drove us crazy about working with that man is like the world perception of him was he was the mastermind behind all of it. Like he was the one writing all the songs. He was the one producing, like putting the beats together, and that wasn't the case. Like 112 was signed not only as artists, but we were signed as songwriters as well. You know what I mean? So
I read the back of the albums.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I
So
didn't read
yeah,
the back.
but see, you know what? But see, you're one of the smart ones, bro.
A
Like
lot of people don't, but
a lot of
I
people
feel
don't. A lot of people do not, you know, and the assumption is because at the time the whole thing was Puff put this, you know, he was the puppeteer and we was the marionette. You know what I mean? Like he was the one that was, you know, orchestrating all this other stuff. Now he was that in a lot of ways. But there was a lot of ways where we were doing a lot of the stuff, man, and it just wasn't highlighted like that. A lot of the songs that we wrote, a lot of the songs that we produced, like we didn't get the shinola and the credit. And I honestly feel like Bad Boy as a whole felt like if they started getting credit other than just being musicians and artists or whatever, it's gonna lead to a fractioning of the group or whatever. You know what I mean? So you know that was it, and I honestly don't feel like that wasn't the case, and it was because of the fact that we wasn't getting our shine over that I think was the case where there was you know a fracturing, if you will. But Deron as a producer, you know, like that dude,
what cold,
he was real cold, man. Like a lot of people don't realize what he did, man. Like that, that fucking you tonight, that R&B, that you must be you. He produced the beat to that.
Yeah.
We did that. See, look, you didn't know.
Keisha Cole.
Like,
To be fair, I always used to read the back of, because my favorite song by 112 is Love You Like I Did. So like, and that's the one where he kind of get to shine as a lead singer. So when I went to go look up who produced it, who wrote it, it sent me down a rabbit hole looking up his stuff. And I've been kind of screaming that for a minute, you know, but like you said, a lot of people don't know that, but
they don't know that, man, because
Keisha
at the
Cole
time,
records,
man,
like the
Keisha Cole record, I should have cheated, he did, man, and we wrote the Gina Thompson record, The Things You Do, her first single, we wrote that. You Don't Have to Worry from New Edition, like we and all the like a lot of those Soul for Real records. Like it was a lot of things that we was writing that people just did not know, and us, and again in our naivete, we were just so happy to be there, man. Like we wasn't really understanding that in addition to the hard work that it comes with writing and stuff, you also got to sell yourself and promote yourself as well, because otherwise nobody else is going to do that for you, man. So we learned it eventually, but in the beginning, all those opportunities that came, like with the Isley brothers writing and singing that float on, float on, float on, float on, wrote that.
Mission to please you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we wrote that, and that ended us, you know, that got us to go on tour with them and stuff, man. So it's opportunities was always there for us to write and stuff, man. But once, you know, we went about it like most young men with arrogance and money and power do. Very in your face, very bluntly, and no, not strategically at all. We came in aggressive, and instead of working with Bad Boy and stuff, man, we were bucking on everything at that point. And and around that time, that was part 3. And if you understand the tenor of part 3, you understand like why, you know, that was part 3. We was arrogant, and we was like, it's the world, it's us against the world. You know, that like we were bucking. If you listen to the way that album feels, like we had an attitude the entire album, because we were tired of people assuming that Puff was the mastermind behind everything that we did. Like he was like, y'all got to get up at 6 a.m. and eat breakfast, and then you got to go work out at this. It wasn't like that, man. We did that, but you know, it was he played a major part in the development of 112. We'll never take that away from him. He was very integral. We could not be successful without his influence. With that being said, we also played a part in it too. It wasn't like we were just sitting around waiting on Puff to tell us, okay, Mike, go over here and sing this E minor 7. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? Or Deron go over here and do this spin move over here and stuff. Like it wasn't like that at all, man. We put that hard work in. We put those long hours in the studio, those long hours in the rehearsal hall and things of that nature and stuff. And so, you know, that was really frustrating. And that all came out on that part 3 album. We was around 25, 20. So, you know, that's when you in your, you know, like 25, 20, you feeling yourself.
Oh yeah.
You can't nobody tell you, like, you know, like for all intents and purposes, can't nobody tell you nothing around that time, man. And it showed on that album, which was one of our more successful albums and stuff. But at the same time, we went about it the wrong way, man. We was so angry at everybody, man. Like, you know, because we just felt like we were getting played and we wasn't getting our just due, even with Peaches and Cream being like the biggest record in the country at that time, and it allowed us to go on tour with Janet Jackson. We still felt like Bad Boy wasn't wasn't supporting us the way that we wanted to be supported. Like, we felt like we was this generation's Boys to Men. We felt like we was this generation's Jodeci. And you know, we felt we wanted Bad Boy to do the same thing, and put their arms around us and say, hey, these are our guys. Like, this is y'all's generation, you know, Boys to Men, Jodeci, New Edition. And, you know, we felt like we wasn't receiving that, man. And as a result, we took it out on the world. And that part 3 was the reason for that. So, and
so some of this is stuff that we weren't listening to, like we didn't know on blogs or newspapers back then. So after, and you're kind of alluded to it, but I'll kind of jump into it. So after 3 platinum albums with Bad Boy, 112 leaves Bad Boy to go to Def Jam. Looking back, do you still feel like the grass was greener over there at Def Jam?
The grass financially was greener, but the reason why we left, it wasn't because, even with all of that I said, man, about us being mad and the whole down or whatever, we didn't want to leave Bad Boy because we knew what we had over there. We knew that, like, nobody in our mind, nobody was going to treat us the way that we felt like Bad Boy was treating us. Like, even though it was quote unquote a boutique label at the time, we still moved as though we was a major. And we knew that it's kind of like if Kobe Bryant, you know, even though he was a Laker, well, initially he was a Charlotte Hornet and they traded him, but he made his bones as a Laker. And then after 2 and 3 championships, he left and went to the Clippers like he was trying to do in the first place, right? Even though he's still Kobe Bryant, it just wasn't gonna feel the same. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people was gonna resent him for leaving the Lakers to go to, you know, to the Clippers or whatever. We knew that there was gonna be some people that just because we weren't on Bad Boy anymore, that we was gonna get resentment or whatever. We didn't want any of that. We wanted to stay at Bad Boy. We knew it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. You know what I mean? And yeah, we had heard about how Def Jam, you know, was just like printing money over there and stuff. Like, we understood all that, but we also wanted that same love affair that Bad Boy, when it was good, gave us, you know what I'm saying, which was, you know, they just treated us like we was homegrown, like, you know, like we had started, you know, we started a revolution, man, with these dudes, man. Like, we started an era over there, and it was hard to walk away from that. The reason why we left was because of that production deal that 112 signed through Bad Boy. And to break that down, we didn't sign directly to Bad Boy. We was never signed directly to it. We were signed to a production deal, and that production deal, which was taking 80% of, well, I don't even know the number right now. Like, don't get me lying with numbers and stuff. It was a lot. It was a lot. The production company was taking the majority of the money that was supposed to be allocated directly to 112. So you had that, and then on top of that, the guy who owned the production company was acting as a manager as well. So he was double dipping. He was a manager. He was the production company. You know what I mean? And, you know, we wanted to get on. So we're going to sign whatever, you know, because we felt like after 7 years or 7 albums, which at the time was the situation, we was going to be able to re-up. When it came time for us to re-up, Puff declined getting us out of that production deal, you know, in order to sign directly to Bad Boy. That's what made us leave. Like, we knew that Def Jam was willing to buy us out of that production deal. Bad Boy wasn't willing to buy us out of that production deal. So as a result of that, that's why we left. So that's why we left to go to Def Jam. It wasn't because Def Jam was in our estimation so much better than Bad Boy. It was they were willing to do something that Bad Boy wasn't willing to do, which was get us out of that production deal. We wanted out of that production deal. We would have signed with anybody as long as they were willing to get us out and they had the requisite funds to not only get us out of that deal, but have the requisite funds to promote a machine like 112 at the time. So Def Jam just came with a better deal. I mean, Atlantic came, Jive came, Columbia came. Like, it was a lot of art. It was a bidding war at one point, man. But we felt like Def Jam was going to be able to give us everything that we wanted. They operated as though you were a corporation within a corporation. Like they wasn't there to oversee your project like Bad Boy was. It's like, hey, we finna give y'all all this money, go make us some more money. You know, and we felt like we were ready for that shit, and we wasn't. You know what I mean? We wasn't ready for that. But yeah, that's the reason why we left Bad Boy. So for all those that did not know, the reason why we left is because Bad Boy was unwilling to get us out of that production deal that we was trying to get out of. You know what I'm saying? And Def Jam was.
Yeah. So if I go back to that first album, for me, my two songs I listen on repeat. Both of them I can listen at them all day. Why Does and Throw It All Away. Those two songs are my favorite 112 songs, hands down. I can listen to them all the time, right?
Yep.
Are there any songs, or for you, what if you had to pick your top songs that you guys have in your arsenal, in your bank? What would they be?
Okay, how many can I pick? Let's do 5.
Let's do 5. Give me 5. Give me 5. Give me 5.
I'll do 5 because if you ask me to my favorite record, oh my God, bro, we be all night. Because I'll be trying to decipher which one.
Yeah.
Because each one of them did an era. You know what? I'll do my favorite record on each album.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the first album, I said Cupid was my favorite. Only because it didn't sound like anything else, man. And we really worked hard at. We saw a goal, we had a goal, and we accomplished that goal. It was, man, let's create a record that sounds something like Babyface would have done, but still sound like something new and revolutionary. And you know, and that's hard, bro. Trust me, man, because you had, like you said, Throw It All Away, which I feel like Slim did some of the best vocal delivery. His vocal delivery on that was, for the way the song modulated and all this stuff, man. It was just like that dude. He vocally, bro. He destroyed that, right?
He did.
So, and then you got like records like Can I Touch You, where we actually had to. Can I Touch You was crazy too. Like, and I'm going, you know, a little sidetracking or whatever. But Can I Touch You was like one of the most difficult records that we ever did. Why? Because if you go back to listen to Can I Touch You, that whole first 8 bars was done in one breath, and we actually had to get on a treadmill and sing the song and get breath control in order to record it. Like that, that's the level of, you know what I'm saying? That's the level of crazy that we had to deal with. Tim and Bob, they was like, bro, if y'all got to sing, if we're gonna do this, y'all got to do it the right way. Y'all got to get on treadmills, man. So for about 2 months, we were singing the song on the treadmill. So we sitting on the treadmill. Can I touch you, make you feel? While we're walking, and then it went from a walk to a light jog, then went from light jog to a sprint. You know what I'm saying? While we're singing it, just so we can get breath control, so we can sing that whole path. You know what I'm saying? So that was and so when I think of my favorite records, it's because of those memories that came with those songs and stuff, not necessarily the song or whatever. So, but Cupid, I would say, like, sonically and how it came about, because that if you don't believe in God, you know what I mean? that was him, like, okay, y'all messed this up with the mud on the mud. But here we go. I'm still gonna bless you. So I say Cupid on the first one. Second album. The second album, man. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. That's a crazy one, bro, because it was. I mean, you can go All My Love on that one. I'm always gonna pick a record, man, that you least expect, bro. So it's like, but what's the one that Kevin Little? Let me show you. Yeah, because my man, you know, Kevin, he obliterated that record that was on our album, and we called it, like when we heard it, we was like, Playboy. He was like, yeah, y'all got me, man. Like, what we got to do, you know? We ain't even gonna fight you, you know. He took, not only did he take the melody, he took some of the words too and stuff like that. So, so I would say it's. You know what? I ain't gonna fight you, man. I'm gonna say Anywhere was my favorite record on Room 112, the second album.
You can't fight it.
I can't fight it. Only because Anywhere actually saved us from having that sophomore slump.
Yeah, it did.
If you remember that Love Me record was our first single on that. And it didn't. Although I really liked the record, I didn't love it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, we paying tribute to Luther Vandross, the whole nine, whatever. I get it, but as far as us performing it, and the formula wasn't like the formula was there, but that it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, how you can have this analytics and the formula and all this other stuff, whatever. Is it a good song? You know what I'm saying? And it was a good song, but it wasn't a great song. We had a great song ready to rock and roll. If I had my way, it would have been Anywhere, Anywhere, Your Letter, and Love You Like I Did. Those would have been the three records that, off that album, I would have done in that order. Not Love Me, Anywhere, Love You, because we had the budget got split between Love You Like I Did and Your Letter, and because of that, we couldn't really take advantage of either one of those sides. Love You Like I Did was meant for the R&B side. Your Letter was to take us over to that pop side. And because we split the budget on that record, on both of those records, we couldn't really take advantage of either one. So that's where I feel like, we kind of dropped the ball on that, especially if Clive Davis tells you, go with Your Letter. If Clive Davis, the head of Arista, is telling you go with Your Letter, you freaking go with Your Letter, man. But that was some back and forth or whatever. And we decided, hey, listen, we want to cater to our core fan base, which was the Black audience. Yeah, we want to do the pop record too, and we want to cross over. But we felt like as a unit, because I disagreed, but as a unit, I'm gonna roll with it. Let's split the difference. And then we put a budget behind Love You Like I Did, and we put a budget behind Your Letter, whatever. So, but if I had my way, it would have been Anywhere, Your Letter, and then brought it back with Love You Like I Did. With my three. But Anywhere would be my first, would be my number one.
That's that one. That's that one.
Yeah, that's the one on
that's
that
album.
One.
Yeah.
That's the one on that album. Now, part 3 is where we're gonna have a problem. Okay. Part 3 is where we're gonna really have a problem. Because of course you want to say the Peaches and Creams, the It's Over Now, the Dance With Me's, the Players, the Missing Yous, you know what I'm saying? But Smile for me was one of my favorite records on that album, man. Like that record that's a Tim and Bob record. Yeah. And we wrote that record back in 94. And we just and we had forgotten all about it. And we started working with them. And they was like, man, I said, man, do y'all remember Another Night in the Scene? And everybody just lost it. And we was like, yo, we got to do it. And it just came out so beautiful, man. And it was one of those records, man, that we always said if we ever had an opportunity, because like you said, what happened was they was about to start working with us on our project, and then when Boys and Men came, they had to go, and they had to go work on that. But Smile was that record that we were gonna work with when we was down at Dallas Austin's studio in Atlanta and stuff, man. Like we were supposed to record that record, then the boys started working on Boys and Men. It was a wrap, you know what I mean? So and that's how Puff was able to swoop in and take, because we actually were supposed to be Tim and Bob's R&B group. We were supposed to be our managers, they were hired by Tim and Bob to go find some talent in Atlanta. And our manager, Courtney, found us at a talent show. And the sole purpose was for us to sign with Tim and Bob. But then once they got the A-OK to work with Boys and Men, they were like, man, they had to choose, let's go make this guaranteed money versus, creating this artist or whatever. But, we were actually Tim and Bob's group, saying from the but yeah, on that album, I have to say, Smile. Oh man, ooh, like again, bro.
That player, boy.
That player was special. Player
but
special.
It's tough. It's tough.
Special. Yeah, player special. So yeah, Player, Missing You, and and it ain't even because I'm singing on it, bro. It's like it's just those records were just so dynamic and it was so needed at the time, man. Like singing was at its height, and it showed so how, because for the last 2 albums, although we were all singing, everybody had their mind wrapped around that Slim was the lead singer and everybody else was just there. And then when we did this record, it was like I remember it, bro. It was like, man, who this new group, man, with this record called Player? Whatever. They're like, fool, that's 112, man. It's like, bro, all them dudes can sing. To this day, bro, every time that I sing Player, somebody somewhere, it never fails, come back and pull me to the side and like, bro, I did not know you could sing like that.
That's where I found out. I'm like, oh, all of them could sing. You know, I found out with Darren on Anywhere and with You on Play It. I'm like, and it was the Apollo performance. I'm like,
is that Apollo performance?
It's that Apollo, man. That Apollo did so much for us, man. Like to this day, I'm forever grateful for that Apollo performance because they didn't really do that anymore. Like they did Jodeci, they let Jodeci perform the entire time, like it was a real concert, you know, and whatnot. But a lot of artists, they just had the one, maybe 2 songs or whatever, and then that was it. Like they allowed us to have a whole special. Like it was 112 night at the Apollo. You know what I mean? And we wanted to do the Apollo. Every artist at that time, man, like you did the Apollo, you was it. You know what I'm saying? Like you was solidified, you was stamped, man. So for us to be able to have that underneath our belt to say that, yeah, we sung at the Apollo and the whole nine, just the history of that, man. Like forever grateful for that, man. So I'll say, but to go back to it, man, I ain't gonna fight it, man. I'm gonna say Player. I'm gonna say Player was my
Don't fight it, bro. Don't fight it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna fight it. I ain't gonna fight it. Now the fourth album, that's gonna be a little different because the fourth album wasn't as successful as the other the previous 3 albums and stuff, man. But we did have some really good records on that album. They just didn't make they just weren't. Man, again, we keep going back to Tim and Bob, bro. Tim and Bob got, I think, about 6 records that did not make that 4th album that I felt like had it did, we'd be talking about a different story right now as far as that album is concerned. Those records are so amazing, bro. It is ridiculous. If y'all ever get a chance to interview Tim or Bob, mention Mike from 112 had said that y'all got some records from that 4th album that they did with y'all that did not make the cut. Those records are incredible, bro. Those records to this day, because they was on CD. My CD got scratched up and I couldn't play it anymore, man. Like that's how old these records are. But at the same time, that's how amazing these records were, bro. Like every time I see Tim, it's like, bro, do you still? He's like, of course I got it. And man, you just need to release all of that 112 stuff, man. Just let it go because it's so amazing, bro. He got some Tim got some records, man, on wax right now from 112 that are so amazing, man. It's ridiculous, bro. But that 4th album, I like Right There For You. I like Knock You Down. It was some records. It was definitely some records on that one. So yeah, I'll go Knock You Down. I'll go no. Right There For You. That was the one that we got from Stevie J, and we told him we wanted that Jodeci vibe. With that record. Yeah, so yeah, that one. Yeah, so he gave us that dun, 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 dun. That's all Jodeci. That's all Jodeci. You know what I'm saying? So he gave us that. Pleasure and Pain, I want to say, man, it was so many records on that. You already know, of course. The What If was amazing. That's How Close We Are. That was amazing. My Mistakes was amazing. What's the record? Lately, I have been wondering if that was a record that Usher demoed, and it didn't make his album, and they gave it a shout out to Mario Winans on that. But yeah, they gave us that record too. That Pleasure and Pain was amazing too, bro. I can't front.
Was Last to Know? Last to Know, right?
Last to Know. Last to Know.
Okay.
Yeah, that Last to Know. Yeah, so man, that Last to Know was, oh my God. My Mistakes. Remember they were Track Boys, they were coming out of St. Louis. That's when St. Louis was popping. You know what I mean? So they had the Track Boys doing that. If I could hear every one of my mistakes. That could have easily gone, it's been one of them records too. I'm gonna say What If. I'm gonna say What If on that record. On the Pleasure and Pain. I could have went You Already Know, but that's the obvious. That What If was amazing. Because I also had a acting debut on that too. And if y'all remember, Kat Graham was my leading lady in that video. Yeah, so from Vampire Diaries and stuff.
I know who Kat Graham is. I don't know.
Yeah. She was the lead. She was the lead actress on that, man. And we actually had to audition. Like the 4 of us actually had to audition. Slim and Deron didn't want to do it, so they was like, cool. So it was between me and Q. and I beat dude out on that, man. So that's the reason why I did the lead acting in that video and stuff, man. So it was just a really great time or whatever. But that was where Kat Graham got her start, you know what I mean, doing that or whatever. So I would say what if on that album.
Okay.
And then the Q Mike Send the Run album. Man, listen, yo, man. That album right there, bro, and to this day I still have arguments with people because, you know, that when I say what I'm about to say, it's all, in a lot of people's mind, it's almost blasphemous. But you got to understand what I'm saying. Not that it's the best album that we did. I'm saying that as a unit, it's the best vocally that we did as a unit, where all four of us was clicking on all cylinders at the same time. That's what I mean by that, man. So that album, that Q Mike's in the Run album, that, you know, like, now we seasoned vets at this point.
Yeah.
We know how to create music. We know how to sing. I know what my voice can do. I know what it can't do. Well, we were still trying to figure that out on the first, second, third, fourth, album and stuff. Fifth album, we knew who we were. At this point, it was what it was on this Q Mike's in the Run album, right? So it wasn't about, hey man, can you do this? And well, can your voice do that? We already knew what our voices could do. So that's why I say, performance-wise, as a unit, that's the best vocally sounding album that we all did at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that, like, I have to be real specific when I say that, because a lot of people be like, man, what you talking about? That first album? I'm saying, you got to listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying all four of us vocally were at the height of our game on that album. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying that it was the better album, not saying that, but it was a really dope album, bro. I feel like had we done that album right after part 3, I think that our trajectory would have continued to, go even higher and whatever, man. Yeah. But on that album, man, like, Dangerous Games was dope, man. But I'm gonna have to say Simple and Plain. I about to say Simple and Plain was that man, vocally on that record right there, man, it was like, man, everybody was really like just giving it our all on that one, man. Like I was really proud of that project, and yeah, that I felt like it didn't get its just due. I feel out of all our projects, I feel like that project did not get its just due.
Yeah, man. I agree. And what I like about the album, man, y'all showed y'all Atlanta brethren, Jagged Edge, some love too. So
yeah, absolutely,
that was cool. That was cool.
Absolutely.
I can't remember a time where two prominent groups came together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, for a song.
Right. We had to challenge. We felt like it was time to challenge ourselves too, man. Like, and just give everybody something that they hadn't heard before. You know what I mean? Or hadn't heard in our generation, hadn't heard before. Like, what two groups is going to join forces like that, you know what I'm saying? Well, all 8 members is going to, at the time, is going to just come together, man, and do this record, man. So I felt like it was brilliantly done. When it was time for Jagged to sing their parts, they sung all of their parts. When it was time for us to sing all our parts, we sung all our parts or whatever. And then we came together, let them, their lead singers go, back and forth with our lead singer. And then we sprinkled in a little wingo at the end of it, man. And it just turned into, like, that's one of my favorite records on it, man. Matter of fact, yeah, that was one of my favorite records. That was one of my favorite records on that album as a whole. Just because it didn't get this just due, I'm gonna say that album as a whole was my favorite on that Q Mike's, and only because it didn't. I feel like everybody should go ahead and just listen to that album, man, again. You know what I mean? But yeah, that Both of Us record with us and Jagged Edge, I felt like that was the most innovative song that we had done in a long time. And Jagged, big shout out to them boys for writing the song, and also for their delivery on it. And honestly, it set the tone for us to go on tour with each other and created that experience tour that we had back in 2017 as well. I remember. Yeah.
And since you mentioned Jagged Edge, I want to bring up the verses. So Swiss Beats was actually recently on Breakfast Club. And, he mentioned he wouldn't have a problem with revisiting past verses groups. Now, if you guys had a chance to do verses again, is there anybody specific that you guys would like to challenge?
You know what? I saw that because if you go look on Brandon's, is it Brandon or Brian? It's Brandon. Yeah, it was Brandon. Him and Slim was going back and forth. See, I ain't with the rah rah rah. If I got a problem with you, I'm gonna call you on the phone, bro. Like, you know, like I don't do the whole social media back and forth. I'm gonna DM you, hey bro, what's your number? So I can, you know, so we can talk this out like grown men or whatever. But not saying that, you know, them boys ain't grown men, but they just do it differently than how I do it.
Yeah.
So I don't do the whole, you know, going back and forth with you on social media and stuff. Although people want to see that controversy and all that stuff. And it was all at the end of the day, it was still it was competitive. We're the two of the most competitive groups on planet Earth when it comes to that, especially when it comes to each other and stuff, man. Like, you ain't gonna get, you know, two groups that are ready to go at each other musically the way that 12 is, you know what I'm saying? It won't get into nothing. It ain't gonna get into nothing gangster, nothing like that. But we you know, we just know what we know. You know what I mean? And so, but the way that happened, man, Fabulous. I guess he was at a party or some kind of function or something, and he tweeted to Swiss Beat, can we do, he said, quote, I was on my R&B shit. Can we please revisit the Jagged Edge 112 verses? Because if you remember,
he did
that same day, George Floyd died. So all of that attention that you know, it was Memorial, it was the 25th, as a matter of fact. Yeah, so that kind of like took, you know, justifiably so, took some of the wind out of our sail when it, you know, came to verses and whatnot, man. So a lot of people was like, yeah, man, I feel y'all on this verses, man, but you know, there's some police crime, you know, some police brutality going on, you know, out here in Minnesota or whatever. So that kind of took a lot of the wind out of our sail when it came to that, and again, justifiably so. But so I understand why, you know, they would want to see a 112 Jagged Edge revisit again, but honestly, man, like would we do it again? It had to be for a check now, man, because when we did it, you know, that wasn't that the money wasn't a situation, whatever. Like everything, it was just, you know, us having a good time or whatever. They said something about percentages and, you know, giving artists prior to percentages of you know, the verses or something. I heard about that or whatever. Nothing manifested from that. You know, it's all good. It's all love. We did it for the love of it. But the truth of the matter is, man, if we gonna do anything, man, that thing got to be for a check now, bro. Like everything that we do, like everybody else making money off of it, like, you know, why would we? And so, you know, money talks. If they come with a number that makes sense, then, you know, 12, we'll revisit it. You know what I mean? But we felt like we had already proven our point. Like if you go to Billboard today, if you go to billboard.com and look it up, the 112 versus Jagged Edge, they broke it all the way down and told you, like, hey man, listen, Jagged put on a great show, but the 112 boys just got way too many hits. And you know, and it was what it was. And you know, so I would revisit it. You know, we would definitely revisit it again if it made sense. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, and we wouldn't.
And talking about that versus, you know, you got Puff and JD. They supposed to be locked in for September?
Supposed to be, supposed to be, and people and Puff's people reached out to us about it. So you know, we told them, like, you know, if our schedules permit, man, and you know, because we're still touring, so you know, September is a big month for us, and so if it makes sense for us to do, then yeah, we you know, it makes sense. Then, you know, we'll definitely see, you know, if it's possible or whatever, man. But you know, we're not gonna turn down any show money or whatever to do it. You know what I mean? So no, we good on that.
So it's funny because we talked out, you know, we talked to J Dub and like, hey man, you know, what's the deal? It's like, you already know, you know, I'm running with the Bad Boy Squad. So all right, so we might as well just go to the next question then. So
I will say this though. I will say this. It won't be a shellacking like how a lot of people think. Like JD got some hits, bro.
Yeah.
JD got and you know, say I'm Bad Boy. I'm gonna always be Bad Boy. Even with us leaving, I'm gonna always be Bad Boy. That's where my heart is. But I'm also impartial when it comes to, you know, music. Music is music. JD got hits, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it ain't gonna be no walk in the park. It ain't gonna be like, you know, we just came in and just, you know, completely took over. But at the same time, Bad Boy just, you know, we in addition to the music, we were an era. You know what I mean? Like there's a moment. We were a moment in time, man. Like, you know, so just off of that alone, just off of that nostalgia alone, we're gonna get, however the grading system is, but we're gonna get a lot of people on our side, man, just for that. Big's first 2 albums alone.
That,
you know
so
what I mean?
we talked about this, Mike, and our thing is for me, it's the rap.
Right.
It's the rap.
And
you talk about the biggest songs, More Money, More Problem, and
come on, man.
Sky's the Limit, and
come on, man. Come on. Talk to him.
Whoa, and it's
Diddy
and
Hypnotized, and then you got Whoa from Black Rob, and then you got Special Delivery, G Dep, you got Shine with the Whoa, you got those, like, come on, bro.
I never agree with the matchup, but I understand JD's in a spot where he's part of that class of producers, like that tier where Puffy at. But if he not going up against Puff, like, it's going to be unfair if you match him up with anybody else. So I get why they paired them together. I just don't agree that the genres of music make sense.
I agree with you. But, I agree with you on that.
Now it's going to be a show though. It's going to be a concert.
They're going to put on a show.
Yeah.
What I would have done. Here's what I would have done.
I would have
said Dr. Dre and Puff.
That's what I said. I said, even from a historical standpoint, it's iconic because of the East Coast, West Coast thing.
East Coast, West Coast thing, man. So and at the end of the day, come together and show everybody that it was all love. Even though we were beefing or whatever, like at the end of the day, it's all love or whatever. If Gucci Mane and Jeezy can do it, I felt like Dre and Puff could have did it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was with that, man. But I felt like the caliber, because it's more than just the music. It's about the iconic status, and
it's the story behind it.
It's a story behind it, man. And Puff is just in a different class when it comes to that, man. Like, and I think the only other dude at this point that could go toe to toe with that man as far as iconic status, and you look at him as a godfather or somebody who just was that dude that influenced an entire era, that's Dre on the other side of that. So I would have loved to have seen Dr. Dre and Puff.
Nostalgia, everything like that.
From us, if we doing narratives, because that's kind of like what Versus is doing now. I agree. I said it got to be Dre and Puff. Now, although it's a little bit slanted towards JD, I said narrative wise, him and Dallas, it's nice to put a little bow tie on how they repeat.
That would have been dope.
Yeah, that would have been dope. That was my vote, but I'm gonna be here for it. My ears can't wait.
Man, I can't wait.
I hope.
You guys were an era, like you said, you guys were a moment, and I want to specifically talk about 112. So you guys were kind of like some of the front runners when it came to the height of boy groups. And I think after y'all, it was just like it wasn't a lot of folks squeaking in. So the industry kind of turned its back on male R&B groups.
Absolutely.
Do you think they'll ever move back to that?
I think music is cyclical, so yes, I am hopeful that it will. But I hope that it will. But the truth of the matter is, man, the way that the industry is right now, it's going to be a while before that happens, because now it's not about the individual talent. Now it's like who can bring the most controversy right now, like who's the most controversy. Like it's not even about the music anymore. It's like the music is secondary to it. Is who can be the most relevant, who has the most followers on social media and things of that nature, man. And it's not the core of it, it is. I think that it morphed into something else. Now it may get to a point where we as a society might get tired of that, and it goes back to the basics. It goes back to the music itself. But as of right now, it's going to be a minute before that happens. But I feel like I said, it's cyclical. So I think that it will come back around at some point. I don't think that it's going to happen anytime soon. Maybe in the next 10, 20 years, maybe. But it's crazy as all get, because there's always been a boy group, a male group, boy group era. It's always from what I can remember from the beginning of when you started charting. There's always been some kind of group dynamic, in every era, man. And the fact that there's not one right now, it's not an R&B group right now in that era, man. It just is actually sad. If it is sad about it, man, because there's a lot of great artists that are it's not a demand for it, because it's a lot of these young artists, they follow me on Instagram and stuff, man, and I'm listening to their music. I'm like, what is it, man? It's like they got everything that you want. It like they record don't sound any differently than what I'm hearing from Chris Brown or Eric Bellinger or a Bryson Tiller. Like it doesn't sound, it's the same melody, it's the same cadence, and that's no diss on it. It's like, but that's what the music industry wants right now. You know what I'm saying? So why aren't they selling records and stuff, man? And it's other stuff involved, man. It's that controversy. It's that, it's just different, bro. I'm just glad that we just came in the era that we came in, because right now, if we try to come in this era, man, I just don't know just how successful we really would be, because based on what I'm seeing, there's not a demand for the male R&B, well, male or female,
male or female.
Yeah,
and the good thing, again, about you coming in the era that you did, I could run off 20 male R&B groups right now.
Yep.
We named a lot of them, but then you still got, the As Yets, Mint Conditions. We can go on, and all of them were in the same era at the same time. Nobody ain't sound the same.
Nobody sound the same. Everybody had room for, everybody had their own little niche, and that's where, and it was cool, because we all understand. It was a brotherhood, it was a fraternity, you know what I'm saying, so to speak, man. We're in the music, and we all knew how hard it was to get that $1, man. So, we wasn't trying to step on each other's toes or nothing like that, man. We was actually fans of each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're a fan of Jagged Edge, man. Like, despite all the, the back and forth that we had over the years or whatever, like, we still appreciated them dudes' music and stuff, man. And so, that's just what it was, because we understood that how hard it is to sell a record as being a male artist in the music industry, man. So back then, bro, like you said, the As Yets had their lane. The Lades had them. The Men of Vision had their lane. The Drew Hills had their lanes. The Soul for Reals had their, man. And we, like you said, we can go on and on and on, man.
We can go.
But we definitely felt like 12 always felt like there was a tier system, right? And the first tier was New Edition, Boyz II Men, Jodeci. From that, it was a second tier. 12 was up under that second. 12 was in that second tier. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't saying that we didn't look. Say the first tier again. The first tier was New Edition, Jodeci, Boyz II Men.
Yeah.
That trifecta, right? And then from there, everybody else seemed to morph from those three integral groups or whatever. Of course, the New Edition being, that one that everybody, morphed into, got it from. And then you had the Boyz II Men on the one side, that was the romantic R&B, and then you had Jodeci, that was that thug R&B.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Jodeci
you had
groups.
the best. Yeah, so you had the best. You had the best of both worlds, man, and within those two groups. So it starts with New Edition. In our minds, it started with New Edition, then Boyz II Men and Jodeci, and then that second tier is where the 112s, the Jaggeds, the Drew Hills, the ones that came up from that era, like that. That's that tier after that, and then then it goes from there, or whatever. So we always felt like those were big bros, those were the guys that paved the way for us or whatever, and they would always get our respect. When it comes to that or whatever, like, we're not downplaying our gifts and what, but we just always felt like those dudes paved the way for us to, because after 12, the whole music industry, as far as male groups are concerned, shifted. You know what I'm saying? You had the Boyz II Men, had Jodeci, and then it shifted into a different sound when 112 came out. So after that, that's why we put ourselves in that tier right after those dudes.
Yep. And that actually, Bill got an interesting question to ask that you just kind of foreshadowed, Bill.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's funny that you're saying all this, because that leads me right into my last little giddy up here. Starting with, we're going to start with New Edition, right?
Okay.
And we'll start there. We're not going to go anything past that. But we'll start with New Edition all the way up until now. We typically close with this question with a lot of artists. We'll close it with you. Mount Rushmore, you got 4 spots. Male R&B.
Male R&B.
Male R&B groups.
From starting from New Edition, right?
Yeah, we know the Temptation. We know all of it.
Yeah, we got all that. We got that.
We got that.
We got those. That's that golden era. Yeah, I got you.
We got that. So we're gonna start with New Edition and
to where we are now.
Where we are now.
Oh, that's simple.
I need your top 4 male R&B groups.
That's simple. New Edition, Boyz II Men, Jodeci, 112.
He was ready. I said you kind of answered the question while you was talking.
No, come on, man. I'm gonna give it to you because even in that second tier, we still feel like we were that upper echelon group.
You're the top of that. You're the top of that
tier.
Yeah. You're the cream of the crop of the second tier.
Yeah, the second tier. Like we started
the funny thing, how you say that, Mike, not to cut you off, my bad.
No, go ahead.
We were talking as we were, in our pre-talk with Barry, I was telling him it's New Edition, Jodeci, and Boyz II Men. They were like that trifecta, like you said, in that fourth one. It's so many groups. Because like you said, you got your 112s, but then I start thinking I got my Tonys and my guys. So I'm like, I remember when they first came out, the Hey Little Walter, that first album. I remember Guy's first album, and I remember the numbers that they did, and I remember us. I'm in Florida. I live in Florida. I was born and raised. I'm a Floridian.
Right.
That music influenced us all the way down here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then
absolutely,
when you guys came out, so it's so many groups that was so influential.
Right.
Even our guys with the Rude Boys and Men at Large and Levert.
Right.
That whole man, it's so many groups.
And again, man, and when I say it, it's not because of me just automatically being in 112. I'm saying this based off of because here's the thing, man. Like back in the day, like when we would sit around and instead of hollering at women and all that stuff, we would talk music theory. You know what I'm saying? We would be in the room talking music theory. And why did Stokely saying, that ad lib in that chorus, right? Like, what do you think he was thinking at that moment and whatever? And when Stevie, when he wrote As, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did he come up with, like, why did he do that? And you know what I'm saying? So it was that mind frame that we did or whatever, man. And so we studied Boyz II Men. We studied Jodeci. And we wanted to be the bridge between both of them groups. That's why we did a lot of raunchy songs and stuff, because that was the Jodeci side, but we also did the harmony side, which was the Boyz II Men. And then we did the choreography. That was the New Edition. Yeah. So if you think about it, 112 was a combination of all three of those groups. You know what I'm saying?
Ingredient for making
exactly. We took the chicken and grits and soulfulness from Jodeci. We took the harmonies and the smooth R&B, real R&B shit from Boyz II Men, and we took the choreography and all that shit from New Edition. Like that's who 112 is. So when I say all that, I'm not saying it just because I'm in 112. I'm saying it because of what we did to the music industry and how we contributed to the music industry. New Edition brought that. We can talk for another 3 hours, talk about what New Edition, how they contributed. Boyz II Men gave you that R&B love song shit that was necessary. Jodeci, they created that whole lane of that thug R&B shit that not only that the women could listen to, but the dudes can feel good about listening to that as well. 112 came in. And the reason why I say that, because we came in and created the hip hop R&B. So although the Rude Boys and Troop and all these other artists and stuff like the Silks and all this other stuff was there, they didn't create a different subset genre within the R&B world the way 112 did. You know what I'm saying? The way New Edition did, the way Boyz II Men did, the way Jodeci did. You was not singing over hip hop tracks until 112 did it.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I say
instrumentals, it's just
and then you got our interludes and you know what I'm saying? It was we was just it was just on another level, man. We were just on another stratosphere, man. Like our whole mission was to be better than everybody, bro. Like in every facet of it. We could sing better, we could harmonize better, we're better songwriters. That's the mind frame that we had or whatever. So when I put us on that Mount Rushmore, it's because of what we brought to that era. You know what I'm saying? And again, that it doesn't get highlighted enough because of us being part of Bad Boy at the time. But we created a genre, man, that a lot of people to this day are eating off of, but don't give us the credit that, you know, and like, I'm not going to lose any sleep because I know that the people that do know.
Yeah.
But and interviews like this will help, you know what I'm saying, to propel, you know what I'm saying, that narrative, man. But the truth be told, New Edition, they brought something to the table. And that was nobody else was doing. And they were the best at it. Boys to Men, they brought something to the table that nobody else was doing. And they were doing it, but they were the best at it.
Yeah.
And
Jodeci, the same thing. It was other artists out there that were singing Thug, so you know what I'm saying? But they were the best at it. 112 was the best at that hip hop and R&B. Because you had other artists that tried to do up-tempo records at the same time, but it still didn't impact the world the way that it did, the way that 112 did.
And Mike, excuse me, but when you say impact, I like to call it pounds on the floor. It's the fact that we could look at the charting and the iconic records, and so you guys have the backing of the record sales behind it as well. Like
absolutely. And I'm only going off of stats, bro. Like I'm not this ain't got nothing to do with emotion.
Yeah, you in the conversation for sure.
Yeah, they ain't got nothing to do with emotion.
Ain't no emotions involved, right?
Emotions keep you broke, bro. Like these are all stats, bro. Since the analytics was the thing we spoke about earlier. Look at them analytics, man, and tell me I'm wrong. Find me another group that was doing it the way the 112 was doing it prior to 112.
And count and when you look at the analytics, count their features as well. They singing
Nobody
the hooks on some.
Nobody had more features. Nobody had more features than 112, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Interludes, forget about it.
Yeah.
We were doing interludes. Our interludes could have been songs. You know what I'm saying?
That's why the why does interlude. That's the one for me. I'm telling you, the why. What?
Like, yeah, man. I seen it on Instagram. Somebody was talking about an interlude. I said, man, y'all left a few off the table, man. Like, interlude dudes, bro.
Y'all interludes, and that's another thing that's missing from R&B today to me. Ain't no interludes. There's no verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Right.
I feel like a lot is missing.
We have to go back to our you guys,
right,
to get that kind of music.
Right. Which is why we're thriving right now, why we're touring and why we're doing all this stuff. So, you know, hey man, we'll take it. You know, it's sad and it's unfortunate because we felt like we left the music industry in capable hands and stuff, which I feel like we still did, but the industry doesn't want 4-minute records anymore. They don't want 3:40, you know, 3 minutes and 40-second records
30
anymore.
seconds to a minute.
Yeah, they hey man, exactly. They want, hey man, if your record is more than 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 30 seconds, bro, like it's too long, you know, nowadays. It's this instant gratification world that we live in right now, man. And it's sad because, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody was a 9-minute record, you know, that they said would never get played on radio. And it's one of the most iconic records on the planet, you know what I'm saying? Because the people wanted it. It wasn't the freaking analytics, man. It wasn't all of that other stuff. It was the people wanted that record. It was revolutionary. And you just let it go. Gotta let it go.
And when you bring up the people, I think the fact that you guys are still touring, you're still thriving out here, it does speak volume to your catalog and also just the greatness that comes with all four of you guys. So what do fans like myself and Bill have to look forward to 112 going forward? Like what are you guys currently doing?
Outside of touring, Slim has released a new single. It's him, Eric Bellinger, and Faith Evans. It's called Gotta Have Faith. And it's a phenomenal record. And we just spoke about how we needed to get back to R&B. That record reminds me of, it could honestly, bro, it could have either been on 112, the song itself right now could have been on 112's first album, or it could have been on Faith Evans' first album. That's what it reminds me of when I hear, the minute I hear, and not because of the sample, the Faith Evans sample that's on there either. It's just the vibe that comes along with it. It's hard hitting. It's a real R&B record. They are singing their asses off, man. And so I definitely got to promote bro doing that. So he's releasing new music. And I think after that we're gonna release some more 112. You know, because we released the EP back, you know, during the COVID pandemic or whatever, man. And I felt like that really put a damper on that EP as well, because there was some really good records on that EP as well. And I think we might jump back into doing some music and stuff as well. But it has to be a demand for it, man. Like I don't know what the industry is on right now, man. But they're like we say we want it, and then when we give it to you, we don't get the support. And we did an interview. Slim and I did an interview a couple of days ago promoting his new single and stuff. And we were asked this question, man. And the truth of the matter is, we have to change our mentality when it comes to our icons. Well, to our people that have paved the way, the people that have been with us for the last 30, 40 years. We'll see when the white man does it, when Rolling Stones or Aerosmith does it, they don't have to put out an album. Mm-hmm. And they can go sell out a stadium in under 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. You know that they could have, because of the way in which their fan base looks at them. Whereas with us, you get in your 40s, then it's over the hill. You're over the hill. I've gotten better. I'm a much better singer now. Do I have the same abilities that I did in my 20s as far? No, because there's a lot of wear and tear and stuff that comes along with that. And like, you show me somebody who can still do something now that they did in their 20s the same way, and I'm gonna call you a liar, bro, because I don't believe it. You know what I mean? But I'm a better singer because I know my voice now a lot more than I did back in my 20s and stuff. So I'm a much better singer now. But because I'm in my 40s, they over the hill, they has been, we ain't this, that, and the third, all this other. I hear it and I see it all, man. Mm-hmm. And it just really goes to show you like the mentality that we have as a society. And I'm talking about us. I ain't talking about the world. I'm talking about us specifically. Mm-hmm. When our artists, man, we do look up to our icons, but we put them in like in we like y'all, but we just like y'all to be quiet and don't say nothing else. Just go be an icon over there, whatever. And if you're in town, I might go see you or this, that, and the third or whatever. But I might not either. My kids got volleyball practice that day. You know what I'm saying? It's just whatever the case may be, man. And we're not looked upon the same way other people look at their artists, like country singers. Like them country singers could, Conway Twitty could have toured until he was 90 years old. Yep. Willie Nelson still touring. You know what I mean? Like it's that type of energy or whatever, man. And we just got to get to that point, man, where as a society, as our own society, we take care of our own and we just uplift our own, and the same amount of support that you had back in them early 90s, that same, kind of energy we need now, man. And we're 12 gonna be all right. But if y'all want records from us, y'all want that new music from us or whatever, we'll give it to you. We're ready to give it to you, man. But it has to make sense. There's no point in us spending money putting out music that y'all ain't gonna go pick up. Yeah. But just keep it a buck. You know what I mean? So we'll much rather go tour and keep singing these old records that we know that y'all love and just ride off into the sunset, man. So as far as that goes, so to answer your question, we would love to do new music, man, but it has to really make sense, man. And the fan base gotta want it. They want it, we'll give it to them, man. But we're not gonna try to force music down y'all throats like that.
And,
I tell you what, Mike, our channel and in this corner, we as far as music is concerned, we mainly focus on R&B. And we specifically focus on that 90s, 80s, late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, that sweet era of music, R&B music that we love. We love this music and we will continue to love this music. So as we mentioned, the other groups, we want to go ahead and give you 112 your flowers. You guys deserve it. You guys are icons. You guys are legend in the game. No one can take that away from y'all. Whatever happened. But when it's still all said and done, 112 is 112. And nobody can take away what 112 has done to the genre of R&B. So absolutely, our channel to you, we want to give you your flowers. You guys are there. You guys are icons. You guys are iconic. Like you said, y'all in that top tier, tier 2, you want to call it. Hey, look how many other people who are there. You know what I'm saying? So, man, y'all Hall of Famers to us. So again, we congratulate you. We thank y'all for giving us timeless music. And man, I'm gonna go bump this music again that I keep listening to. You know what I'm saying? 112 is that. 112 is that, man. We want to thank you, man. We appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, man. We really do appreciate that, man, because we really work hard. And we didn't get into the music industry, man, with the mindset of, oh, we want all the accolades and all this other stuff or whatever. But it does feel good to know that your music is appreciated and you as an artist is appreciated for the things that you've contributed to, the music industry, man. It's like we'll forever be, we'll live forever. You know what I mean? And that's where, that's where we want to be, man. I think I accomplished something. I think I accomplished this goal. My kids going to always be able to say my old man was, Mike from 112 and, this, that, and the third, man. And that's generational, man. Like, and that's something that, they can always be proud of. And as long as I got that, man, I'm gonna be all right. But to get it before, it's all said and done, man. Like your flowers before it's all said and done. I think that speaks volumes, and we really appreciate that, man, because there's so many artists, they get it posthumously, like, you know what I mean? Or they so freaking out of their mind, they don't even know what's going on and stuff, man. So to still be relatively young and to get the acknowledgement to know that that you're still, in people's hearts and minds and stuff, man. Like that's something you can't put a price tag on that, man. Like because we deal with so much stuff, and as artists, nobody wants to hear your problems. Go out there and sing, you know what I mean? So when you hear that, man, it's like it just feels good, man, to know that there are people like you guys that are out there that actually see what we've been trying to say for years, man. Like and like that speaks volumes, bro. So I salute y'all, man. Thank you for keeping this going, because without y'all creating and spinning that narrative for us, a lot of artists won't have the opportunity to tell their story. You know what I mean? Yeah. And their story gets told by other people, and then you totally miss the ball. You know what I mean? So we didn't come in wanting to be iconic, but we ended up, with it, and I'll use your words, man. We came in not wanting to be iconic, but we ended up being iconic, man, and we'll take it, man. Like that is some high level shit right there, bro. Straight up.
Hey, Mike.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We just lasted 12 rounds with a champ, an icon. How do you feel?
We took over the world, baby.
All right. Hey, before we go, Mike, what's the best way for folks to find you on social media?
You can find me at Michael Keith, MichaelKeith of 112. You can also find where we're performing, touring, anything 112 related on the official 112 on Instagram. I'm not on really anything else, man. I'm on Instagram a lot. Please follow me, follow, or not. It's totally up to y'all, man. It's either way it go, man. It's cool. But if you want to laugh on my page, man, I don't do a whole lot of 112ing on my page. It's still 112 related, but I don't do a whole lot of 112ing on my page. However, if you do want to laugh, I suggest you go onto my page and follow me, man, and just see some of that buffoonery, man, because some of that shenanigans, man, because it's me acting out that other part of me. So and so you'll see a whole lot of stuff that I do outside of it. Like I was in a movie not too long ago. Big shout out to King June for allowing me to in Columbus Short for allowing me to be in the movie. And so I think I want to start going into that lane as well, man. But 112 takes over so much of my life. It's either family and you sleep for 2 hours and then you go do 112. And it's so I don't know, if the acting bug is something that, but I kind of want to dabble in that as well, but it has to make sense because my loyalty will always be the 112. And that's, I'll go from there, whatever, man. But yeah, you just follow me on Michael Keith of 112, the official 112. And we just gonna continue rocking this thing out, man, till the wheels fall off.
And ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comment section what's your favorite memory from Mike and 112. Leave your 2 cents in the comment section below. Also, let us know who you think we should interview next for the future. So go ahead and drop those suggestions down there too. Bill, what's another way they can show support?
Hey, like you said, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell.
There we go. This concludes another episode of Unanimous Decision. Thank you for tuning in to And in This Corner.